Hi, this is Patrick Walsh here with head golf coach Jeff Jenkins, coming off the first tournament of the year and a ninth-place finish, but a couple notable wins. The Bulldogs beat reigning Conference USA champion Rice and Mississippi State. You got to figure that's two big wins early in the season for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I think we got off to a pretty good start. I think in a 15-team field, being in the top 5 is kind of a good goal to have. But, yeah, beating a couple of those teams was good.
Now, Chuck Spears led the Bulldogs, kind of a very consistent effort by him. He went 72, 71, 71 over as the 3 rounds. For a guy that you really need to have step up and be a consistent competitive golfer, you got to be happy to see that early out of the gates.
Yeah, Chuck and I have been talking about some mental game and emotional stability stuff, and to see him put together consistent rounds like that's pretty good. Need to see more of that, I guess.
Plus, a top 20 finish is always good individually. Obviously, you want to get a little bit higher, but a top 20 finish in his first tournament is a good starting point for the season.
No doubt about it, no doubt.
And Victor Lang, you know what Victor's going to do, so you can't be too worried that he went 72, 71, 72 on a par 71 course over three rounds. You know at some point he's going to really kind of get his game going and make a run for an individual title this year.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Victor, he very confident young man, and he told me good golf's around the corner, so I'm not concerned about him. The sky's the limit for that guy. He's our leader, he's our captain, and I expect good things from him for sure.
You're in your first season as head coach of the Bulldogs. What was your first tournament like, walk around with those guys and starting to get a feel for getting to know them?
Yeah, that's kind of been my main objective, is to learn more about those guys and just to get to know them. So I told him, I said, look, the only way to do that is to spend time with you, one round at a time. So I walked with 3 of the guys individually. So we had 4 guys kind of walking by themselves, but first round was with John Lewis Sam, second round with Chuck Spears, and then the final round was with Ben Robinson. So I think it was great. I mean, all 3 guys, I'm very impressed with their game, and looking forward to learning more about each of the other guys as well.
Speaking of Ben Robinson, obviously one thing he really needs to focus on is consistency, and I think he'll say that as well. He went 77, 67, 74. You got to like what you saw out of that 67 round, but probably a little frustrating to see him shoot 74 the next day.
Well, I actually had a chance to walk with him, and man, nothing went right for him yesterday. So he played, he was really kind of struggling tee to green, but he stayed patient. We had a nice little talk on 8 green, and from 8 green on, he didn't make a bogey. He made all pars and a birdie. So I think, yeah, one thing he's told me is he's a bit inconsistent at times, but I'm expecting him to make some strides. We just got done meeting just now, so he'll make some progress there for sure.
Looking ahead, Bulldogs head out to the Memphis Intercollegiate, facing a lot of conference competition in this tournament. I know Western Kentucky and Middle Tennessee State, 2 very good teams, are 2 teams we'll face in Memphis.
That's right, yeah. And we've not had a chance to see either one of those teams yet. They weren't down in Southern Miss, but looking forward to playing against those guys, as well as Memphis. Southern Miss will be there. Southern Miss beat us this last week on their home course, so looking forward to a chance to get those guys back.
But you can't really it's tough to count a loss to a team like Southern Miss when it's on their home course. They've got that inherent advantage.
There's no doubt about it. So we have that advantage when we play our event at Squire Creek, as they had theirs this week. So hopefully on a neutral site we can do a little better against those guys.
One other team we saw last week in Southern Miss, and we'll see again in Memphis, is Mississippi State. And as I mentioned at the beginning, it's always good to get a win over an SEC school, and a program like Mississippi State is probably a good little notch to have in the belt early this season.
No doubt. Anytime we can beat a SEC or Big 12 or anything, any team like that in a major conference is something that we can pat ourselves on the back about. So looking forward to hopefully beating those guys again in Memphis.
Well, the Memphis Intercollegiates is on Monday and Tuesday. Live stats can be found at golfstat.com or on lawtechsports.com. Here for Jeff Jenkins, I'm Patrick Walsh on La Tech All Access, previewing La Tech Golf.